leaving up that Lee Sin, and I imagine that WE, there's no, maybe the Varus could be a first pick here, but the Lee Sin just stands out as like the obvious choice.
Yeah. It is. Like every time this champion is up, it will be first picked. And great potential right now with how strong it is in lane, but we can also see it be picked up in the jungle. So not only do you have a strong laner, you also have a strong triple flex that can kind of help you secure a favorable draft, especially when you play blue side, where red side often gets the counter pick. But this doesn't mean that iBoy can't get back to the Varus, can't get back to the Rell if you press that either, and go for a power pick in that case scenario. There is junglers still up and available if you want to secure one of the stronger ones, like the Volibear you just second picked beforehand for Leyan. Huge success with this one, and they're going to go for it again.
With 3 jungle bans, I'd imagine you'd have to draft a jungler this early on. You just got to make sure you're grabbing it. The Diana is still available. Olaf, another one that Beishang can go back onto. And if they could just play a little bit more proactively, I think with this Lee Sin, there's a great path for them to play around that 10 to 15 minute mark like they normally do.
Well, right now Sett is up as well if they want to opt in for Lee Sin, Sett, and then Diana in the jungle, but they actually opt in for the AD carry department this time around. And Elk beforehand, they said, alright, you pick Varus, we pick the Rell. This time around, they opt in for full dog pile. So this time around, Beishang, he's going to be the engager. He gets in with the CC. Elk is going to have whatever target he wants to go on as well. And the whole composition right now from WE is going to be able to dog pile.
I was thinking the Sett was going to be the obvious choice here. A great pick for Cube into the top lane. Doesn't have the worst matchups into many different things, but instead they're taking flexibility. They're taking things that can still leave them options of what they want to do. Volibear can get flexed. Cube can play it. FoFo, I guess technically could play it, but I highly doubt that. But it's the top side of the map you expect it. The Karma having the opposite, being able to go from mid to support.
Yeah, speak of supports right now, we are missing support picks in general from, well, if we hypothesize that the Karma is not going to support, we're also missing support from Rare Atom right now. So you can already see a lot of them are starting to get banned out, and we presume it's going to be Leyan on the Volibear in the jungle, so not necessarily a champion we'll think of either here. And with the Sylas ban coming out, Alistar does rise in priority, just because no longer the Unbreakable Will can be stolen away. So I wonder what Rare Atom is going to be looking for themselves here. Are they going to pick up a solo laner with a counter here, or are they actually going to expose their flex here with the Karma and go for their blind pick support instead?
This is where I do wonder, because if you grab Alistar here with that Leona ban, Alistar and Rell fits into the WE composition just as well as the Alistar. Either champion would work amazingly for what they want to be able to do. Do you want to handshake the support role as well?
I mean, I think you'd rather handshake the support role and then keep the flex alive for the solo laners instead, specifically because we know the solo laners can be quite scary. So I mean, Sett right now could go both sides as well, so not a bad pick either. I think support would be kind of good here just because there's already a lot of them who's been put away. But it does leave open counter pick for that bot side of the map to put iBoy in a good situation, and Mole going in against FoFo. There's a lot of power picks available. I'm not going to talk power best, I'm just going to wait for it, and it is going to be the Zoe.
They stole away Mole's Zoe. Oh man. So we're expecting to see that Karma support. It's going to be a lot of poke and really difficult for the low range ADCs such as Kaisa. But just to see the cojones here on RA to take away the comfort champion of Mole, I'm expecting this Sett probably is going to be what he wants to go to, because that is normally the fallback when not on Zoe.
Yeah, I'm very surprised the champion was not banned out. It feels like it was just going to be the go-to for Mole here as well. And on towards the Zoe does do well into melee lanes just because of the fact she plays with her own range. It's easy to hit them bubbles. It's easy to go for the poke. But I can be a bit worried from the side of Rare Atom when I see how easy it is from WE to actually just dogpile onto you right now. You have the Rell that can go on you. You have the Sett that can go on you. You have the Kaisa that can go on you. The Diana. You have to at least see every champion here has backline access. And there we go.
Mundo! Oh man, I wanted to ask you at the beginning of the day if we're gonna see Mundo for Cube, because we've already seen it once. Now we're seeing it twice. The reworked Mundo coming in for the team. You know, it might not have had the flashiest of showings the last time Cube played this champion, but it does give much needed frontline capability for the team.
It gives you more front line, yeah. And you can see from the side of Rare Atom, they have a poke front to back composition. That's kind of what we're going for here.
If you're going to ruin this Mundo pick for me, I'm just going to stop you right there.
I will ruin this Mundo pick for you. I will ruin this Mundo pick for you.
All right, fine, continue.
I haven't seen too much Mundo. When we saw Mundo before, it was Cube as well. And you saw Mundo beforehand as well.
He goes where he pleases.
It didn't do all too much.
Love?
But wait, what if... I would love if he went where he pleased and just opted in for skirmishes, but the problem is right now, Mundo doesn't want to do that. What apparently where Mundo wants to go is just sit up in that top lane, throw cleavers at minions, and just farm from a safe distance. That's what he likes to do. That's apparently his comfort zone, which I'm not judging, by the way, but that is just what we're expecting.
It sounds like you're making the Mundo pick look not as good as it could be. I have faith in Cube in this one, even though I do want to be able to have a game 3. Love to see WE be able to pull back this game. I also can't help but want to root for Mundo. It's in my blood. I'm just that kind of guy. You know, I've played many a Mundo dodgeball in my day, but I do kind of want to reel this back and go into the compositions, because WE, this is a typical WE composition. This is the dive into the U, make sure that you squish these FoFo iBoy, you're not going to have a fun day.
And that's the thing. That is exactly the thing you talk about there. And we said beforehand as well the same for WE, but this time around with a composition like that, you need to be way more skirmish heavy. You need to be way more reliant on actually setting up these team fights rather than just falling prey to what Rare Atom likes to infuse in the game, this kind of sleepy dosiness, this kind of LCK injection that we don't appreciate around these parts. And this is going to be WE against Rare Atom. One team has a poke front to back. The other is all about that dive in, the engage, the backline accent, the agency of these champions.
Don't forget the home field advantage for Team WE as well going into Game 2. You gotta imagine the crowd is out there giving them strength into the second game, backs against the wall, against the team that is known for having some crazy shenaniganeries in the late game and somehow being able to pull off miraculous win after miraculous win.
But we are starting off with an early game again, and this time around, Leyan is actually up towards the top side of the map. Volibear with this red side. He wanted to play for top beforehand, so he started at bottom. But this time around, it looks like he's just going to be pathing down towards the bottom. So junglers right now are just going opposite paths.
Kind of makes sense.
It's going to be easy to play for the top side of the map with damage, mixed damage profile. And yeah, you're right. It does kind of make sense. You don't want to opt in for the skirmish with a Sett in the mid lane up towards the top side of the map where Lee Sin most likely will have priority. For Leyan, he will have priority towards the bottom just because of the nature of the bot lane matchup. Right now at bot lane, you have the Varus, you have the Karma, and it's just easier to get priority.
I do respect missing an Elk trying to see if they can wrestle some control, but unfortunately, this is what happens. You don't fight against this bot lane, they fight against you. You had to flash early just to be able to survive. iBoy doesn't have the piercing arrow. He started Hail of Blades, but the Hail of Arrows, but if he's able to be able to get to level 2, then it's still going to be a pretty decent amount of damage early on.
Yeah, you hate range top laners. Try playing against double range in the bot lane when you just have a melee. It is hell.
That's why you play Blitzcrank,
this is the reason Leyan path at bot side. Yeah.
Yes, that's why I play Blitzcrank. You just pull them. Who needs to worry about range when you can bring them to you? And right now, we can see that Elk and Missing are struggling with this. They are not having the easiest time. Even though Leyan is in the spot lane, I doubt we're going to see a dive too early on. You can see that Elk and Missing have already been able to regain a lot of their health from that earlier skirmish, but again, is posturing for a potential dive.
They don't have heal, they have the cleanse, so there's the possibility of getting away here. But if they deny Elk this wave, that's going to be huge for the bot lane, and I think they'll be going for the dive.
Look at that massive minion wave with the TP in as well. The shield from the Sky Splitter. First blood still picked up, but it's traded 1 for 1. Going to be able to get the Hail of Arrows to be able to get one more back. iBoy trying to be able to get away from Breathe. Breathe does not want to let him get away. There's the flash, there's a shield. Can he get away? Breathe on the hunt, looking to see if he can land that Q, but the minions might be enough to be able to body block him. Breathe, he wants it so bad. He doesn't want to have TP'd for nothing, and he got himself the kill.
Ooh, there we go, gets out alive with the shielding as well, but how much is he losing up towards the top side of the map? Minion wave is being pushed in, so he is losing a fair bit on the wave, but outside of that, kills going over, and it's going to be an even trade for the side of Team WE and Rare Atom. First blood, of course, going over to Rare Atom, but I like this. Way more proactive this time around. And yes, they trade even, but look at this huge wave right now. The fact Elk dies here means he misses all this gold, he missed all this XP, and that's going to be huge for the Rare Atom bot lane, who already had a pretty decent time going up against them.
But I love this from Breathe as well, continuing to get these solo kills, knowing that he TP'd into the spot lane. He had to be able to get more than just showing up and being like, hi, surprise, I'm here. With that kill, it helps him. He's got himself a pickaxe. It is into the Giant's belt of Cube, but he didn't really lose that much. No plates were picked up by Cube. The minion wave might have crashed, but he retains having an even CS lead over Cube.
Yeah, you're completely right about that, and it looks like he will recall again after being pushing this one in. I want to see the CF deficit when iBoy picks up this bot wave right now, because on the scoreboard, the 280 carries are quite even, but WE had a slow push minion wave pushing in towards the bot side of the map that iBoy is currently pushing up here. And you can see that minion differential, the lead is up and in towards the Rare Atom's bot lane here. And once again, they have a poke bot lane. They have poke from the Varus, they have the double ranged, and it's going to be hard to play for from WE.
They're going to struggle in that bot lane. You could already see where they're positioned. Elk and Missing are trying to see if they can at least get some experience. Not even just getting the CS. They just want to be able to retain some sort of level and advantage against this bot lane of Rare Atom. But unfortunately, it is going to be difficult. I wonder if they call down Beishang. We still haven't seen him make these plays just yet, but we normally see it after the 7-minute mark. That's usually when the first ganks come in from WE.
Yeah, you're completely right, and you can see pinks are coming in towards the top side of the map. Remember, Cube with new rework Mundo passive does remove some of the CC Beishang would implement with the ultimate or the kick. But it just looks like he's going to respect it. He knows right now that bot lane is committing a play towards the bot side of the map, so there's no reason to go for it.
Ooh, iBoy, alrighty.
And there we go. Out of nowhere, once again, it's double range bot lane. It just sucks to play in as a melee support. Not much on that side. And then from the pressure, they're able to not only get trade, but also zone Elk away. So he's missing even more minions here.
Here's FoFo.
iBoy does take 2 tower shots.
See Beishang here. There is that massive minion wave once again. They're trying to see if they can poke down Elk before Missing's going to be able to show up. But on the other side, there was a potential flank from Mole, and they're being cautious. They do not want to get overextended.
And WE can't go for this either, because right now there's TP advantage on towards Cube. If Breathe wanted to stop the TP from coming through with the kick, he'd just be kicking the Mundo passive. So there is nothing stopping Cube rather from joining a fight, if anything were to break out. And here we see it. They actually opt in for this one. They want to go for it. Elk forced to cleanse away, but Funk just dodges backwards. As soon as that has happened, Missing. No flash, no mobility now with the Rell, and he's just done.
Near full white stack as well from iBoy. Now Breathe stole away the red buff, but it's gifted back over to Cube. Oh no, this is all going awry for WE early into the game.
I'm not too sure about that one. Breathe opted in for a fight against Mundo, just full HP, with ultimate up, with no priority in mid lane. Seemed very flippy as well.
It was awkward there from Breathe. That's an uncharacteristic play where he's normally playing with this lead that he's able to get for himself, and he thought he had this position where he was able to shove in Cube, but like you said, he didn't respect that FoFo could easily rotate around to punish him, and punish they did. It made sure not only to be able to get the kill from him, but give a red buff over to Cube. That had been rightfully stolen by Breathe. So now mid lane, they're trying to make a play happen, but FoFo has a flash that he stole away and can get the dash with the Sky Splitter underneath the turret. They have Bull so low, Haymaker Shield will be able to keep him alive, but they've got him a sleepy bye-bye time. FoFo takes the kill.
And that's the thing, as soon as Leyan gets level 6 on towards this Volibear, you need to pay attention to where these dives are going to come through. They opt in for 2v2 in the mid lane, and Rare Atom, they capitalize with the skirmish power of Sovi, with the bubble, with the CC. It's just so hard for WE to actually find any leverage, any lead in towards these small skirmishes.
And right now, you know, I love my Mundo pick, but you were getting me to question it. But it worked so well in this composition because, as you had highlighted, what does he do in the lane? He pushes, he cues minion waves, he is static. He doesn't have to worry about that much, which allows iBoy to play aggressively. Though iBoy getting himself way caught out of position and giving gold over to Elk.
With the flash up as well, that's just iBoy purely out of position that you set yourself there. And missing. Didn't even have ultimate yet. Neither did Ilk, or you didn't have to use it rather. So yeah, iBoy just straight out of position there. Really interesting. But I want to go back to the Mundo point. I want to ask you a question. Did your excitement from Mundo come from his ability to weak side?
Mundo!
Alright, great. That's just gonna be my point. Because yes, that's the excitement you're looking for. It's a cube champion. I'd say that. Mundo is very much a cube champion. And he's most certainly still going to pay his dividends when you go in towards the mid game where we talked about to you. He's the kind of guy that's just going to be a facilitating frontline who's going to soak pressure from the carries towards the back. That's the thing I'll allow you to be excited about.
Mundo. That's all I care. Well, I don't need any more explanation beyond that. It's just Mundo. I see Mundo. I'm happy. Makes me very happy to see him, especially because he's got the proper skin. But right now, is that secure? I think that was secured by the side of Leyan. And now they're continuing the fight. But Leyan's taking so much damage in the fight. He's not going to be able to get away. You see Breathe trying to be able to get on top of him, but he barely holds on to Flash to be able to get the trade 1-for-1. And then blowing up for a missing Breathe. They're caught in a bad spot once more. Mole's trying to be able to help you out with the showstopper. But there's so much damage going. Nice kick. And then he goes right on top of Breathe. How do you continue to do this? You're so low. He's getting the trade. 2 kills there. FoFo, the only survivor.
Yeah, what an incredible skirmish that actually came out there, and Breathe with a fantastic kick into the haymaker. That was really cute coming out from him, but in the end, Rare Atom are still the team coming out ahead. FoFo picking up more kills as well. Rare Atom, they pick up the Rift Herald, they get the plating in the mid lane, and they still have the pressure obtained on the map. But it is first move coming in from W. You can see them trying to get the damage onto Leyan, and they do get a good chunk of it. Kwang flashes forward to get the exhaust enabled, keeping his jungler alive for longer, letting FoFo join the fight. And then, Mo, this looks like a lost fight already, but he doesn't care about it. He's still up in food, and then the kick into the haymaker. Really sweet little combo there.
And here, Breathe being able to get the retribution kill on the way out. I mean, yeah, it is still Rare Atom who come out ahead, getting the Rift Herald, having the man advantage with FoFo surviving so he can shove in yet another wave into Mole. But you gotta give credit where credit is due to WE. They're still continuing to try to fight. This is what their composition is built around.
It most certainly is, and but I'm just going to compliment Rare Atom as well for how fast they actually scaled up their composition. We just talked about how slow pace they had just before this game, but this time around, they for sure amped up the speed when we in reality said we want this from WE, which we didn't get. And there you go, Mundo action. Are you going to get some of it?
Here we go, trying to get the fight, but look at the damage coming in from Cube at this moment, making it so difficult for Breathe, because what can he do? He can't kick him. His passive's just going to keep him safe, so nothing Breathe can do in this matchup, really, which allows Leyan to have so much free time bot lane. Maybe this dive can be the one point that they can actually get. They have a TP showing up into the top lane, but Breathe is down below 50%, and there's still the passive for Q. He can still be able to get that back, but now they've kicked him away from the turret with the haymaker, the flash, trying to keep him alive, but he's still being able to survive. Mundo goes where he pleases, damn it.
What the hell are they doing? You realize that's a Mundo, right?
Mundo!
With passive as well. Mole literally just ulted Mundo's passive.
Mundo.
He ulted nothing. And Cube had ultimate. Now towards the bot side of the map, you drafted a Kaisa. You drafted a carry ADC. And you're leaving him out to dry. He's not getting any resources. He's down in gold, he's down in CS, he's down in turret plating. I just don't understand that.
Mundo! That's all I care about. Like I said, I'll keep saying it over and over again. But damn, you gotta give so much credit to Cube. Calm-minded in that entire play, holding the flash until after he's kicked away from the turret, knowing that someone has to use CC to be able to lock him down. And it just so happened, like you said, having to have been the showstopper ult that was dragged out of him to be able to get the passive away.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're completely right. And now we're just moving on after that game state. Once again, Team WE are not getting anything. They're down in 2 Drakes. They're down in plating. They haven't picked up a single Herald. They're also down with 4K, close to 5 here, actually. And Rare Atom is playing a way more refined style this time around, Matt Magical. They're playing a way more pressurized style where they're not afraid to actually opt into skirmishes, where they're not afraid to actually go out and take what belongs to them on the map when they have a lead apparently this time around.
So Guldborg, have you come around to the ways of the Mundo yet? Have you not been entertained?
Alright, I'll give you this. I'll give you this. For Q, he's great. Alright, for Q, he's great. And I will say, no, okay. I'm entertained by the fact that WE are outplaying themselves. WE are playing into a weak side. You leave this guy, he's just like, he's a tank. You just can't get onto him.
Here you go. This is a great dive. Immediately blowing up and getting both summoners from iBoy. They can immediately get this tier 1 turret.
And there we go. That's the ease of execution. We talked from World Elite as well. They might be, or WE rather, they might be down a little bit, but that's not going to deter them from catching iBoy rather out of position. And now for the second time in a row, iBoy has been caught out just like that.
This is how I know you're an old school fan of the LPL like myself, because you say the original name, it's like Gamers 2 over in the LEC. I remember that as well. I remember back in the days, but you know what? We got to look back at this replay, and iBoy, it's just, he's squishy and he's easy for them to die.
You can see Hwang Yi's just getting the hell out of there. He's got no business with that one. Pops the Shirelia, just runs up towards the top side of the map, even saves his flash because he knows that guy's out of position, and he's like, yeah, okay, that's just my classic ADC. We'll get them in a bit.
Yeah, he's like, nah, not about this, fam. I'm out of here. Laters, have fun with that. I am not having any part of it. And right now, it doesn't seem like it actually has mattered too much, because Rare Atom still have this lead. They have this composition that is going to be great at sieging. The clear speed of both Varus and Zoe to keep WE pinned in underneath the turret as long as they can maintain this gold lead going here into these mid-game team fights.
And it's also the fact that you take a look at the items right now, and Elk still haven't picked up his own mythic item here. So if you opt into this Drake, if he's not got his mythic, you're going in with a mythic disadvantage. That's just going to be even harder for you. And Rare Atom, they're wasting no time. Rift Herald, the second one of the game, just respawn. They're setting up for that one, and then after that, they'll probably be looking on towards that soul point for themselves with the Ocean Drake spawning in 1 minute.
This is definitely a Rare Atom that we don't often get to see, where they were able to really answer a lot of this early pressure that WE tried to be able to utilize. And it's still WE attempting to make these plays, attempting to see if they can wrestle some control from RA, but it's always on the side of the map where Mundo is. And again, it's Mundo. What are you going to do to him?
That's the thing. It's just like, you can't really punish him. Yeah, you can try and force him away, but he's just so damn tanky, his items are so cheap, and right now, he doesn't really have that all too much resistances. He's opted in for the warm-up, he's opted in for the Bammy Cinder, and then yes, he does have a null magic mantle and a cloth armor, but that's it. It's not like you're looking at someone with a huge amount of resistances, you're just looking at a guy who's really beefy in the HP department. And here's what we talked about. Rare Atom, they have the Rift Herald. Now they're walking down towards this Ocean Drake, which will be soul point for them. And you can see how far back WE's already pushed. They're just forfeited this one.
And that is unfortunate for this team. They cannot be in a position where they have to answer to RA. They have to be reactive. They are the team that's supposed to be proactive. And now, what options do they have besides trying to see if they can maybe get a fight around the top side of the map?
And that's the thing, but you can see that just opting in for the pressure around the Herald, they can get this mid lane turret down with the Herald, then they can move the pressure down towards bottom lane, where right now on your minimap, you can see Cube, he's just stacking up a wave as well. So WE, they know this. This is the time for them to strike if they want to go for it, because they're at a man disadvantage. And then the response comes through from Rare Atom. They back off, they move into the backside, and then Mole at the same time, just trading up in some towers.
There's that ward behind. That's a great flank angle that Mole can use. They are going to have to sacrifice the turret. They don't want to make the call just yet. Breathe and Mole, we're not ready, not in position just yet to be able to capitalize on that.
This time around, you know, we've talked a lot about Rare Atom as well, how some of their victories haven't been as decisive, and while their style in general is a bit more slow, this time around it feels convincing. This time around it feels like they're the one who's got a grasp on towards the game, and they're the one just kind of influencing their style on towards this game. Where WE, yeah, we've seen some glimpses of them coming out with a catch, but most of the time it has been iBoy out of position. Most of the time it has been because they are punishing a mistake from Rare Atom, and going on towards the next Drake, it's that small window is only going to lessen and lessen, just due to the fact that you're looking at a Mundo with a potential Ocean Soul. you're never going to kill the guy if that goes over to Raratum.
No, and it is going to be rough. The WE have to make sure that they maintain full control around this Dragon Pit, and you can already see that they are trying to get something early on. It's still a while out until that is going to be a potential fight. But as long as Breathe can be a part of this, he's the one member that actually has a lead over his opponent. If you can make sure Breathe can assassinate someone like FoFo, like iBoy, that is going to be massive for WE to try to be able to wrestle some of these fights away.
But the problem for that right now is that you need to catch them outside of position. You have a Karma who's always walking near with these carries, who's got the extra shielding to take care of some of the damage, who's got the exhaust as well. And right now from WE, you don't have that all too much damage. Like if you're in a 1v1 scenario, you're probably not gonna take someone down just due to the fact that they'll be able to disengage. So right now you need to find a pick where you're able to pile in with multiple members and still have enough agency in a team fight afterwards to come out on top when you're facing the rest of the members of Rare Atom. And that's kind of the wall they're locked up against right now for WE.
They're caught between a rock and a hard place at the moment as they try to see if they can clear out these minion waves, push them back. One of the silver linings, though, is they have been able to slowly but surely chip away at the gold lead that RA had built up throughout this entire game. It is now a 3,000 almost deficit that they find themselves at, which is a lot better than the 5,000 they had not too long ago.
You're completely right about that one, and Skirmish, we might for once see one here.
Mole looked like he was a little far out, but he will be able to get back to his team. Breathe, not there just yet. He's still pathing. He does not want to burn that TP just yet. They want to see if they can utilize that 1-3-1 at least to be able to keep RA from taking all of the objectives.
Yeah, but it's just so goddamn tough for them right now. 1 minute and 30 seconds on towards Ocean for Rat, and for them the game plan right now is keep mid lane pushed out, send Cube down towards the bottom side of the map, make sure bottom is going to be pushed out in 1 minute, and then just have a clear defense line of vision where it's hard for WE to walk in without getting poked down. If you get hit by one bubble, even on towards the tank, that's still going to hurt with the Panther Star, with the piercing arrow from iBoy as well.
Right now, it is going to be the ARAM mid lane. Both teams trying to see if they can keep the push back. It is only 50 seconds until we get the Dragon, and Beishang here's the first one to make the choice. Trying to see if he can get into the backline. Well, Mole is already way back there. He had a huge Haymaker shield, but it's not enough to be able to survive. Not when they jump on top of you. Cube is able to go where he pleases. It's Mundo, baby.
Looks like they're not done yet. They're still getting chased down. The Cleavers, can they get missing as well?
Missing. He had to flash away. Nice kick from Breathe. It will be able to give him breathing room, but the Dragon is there. That is the option that Ari wants to be able to take for themselves. It's not too long until it spawns.
And that's the thing, you saw those, you saw the HP bars, right? No carry member was nowhere near to get low. It was all down on towards the frontliners, and we talked about Rare Atom's composition. They're just that much better as a front to back. But look at the TPs. Look at WE right now. They're looking on towards Baron.
Are you really going to trade the Ocean Soul for the Baron? Can you burst this down quick enough? Breathe isn't even there. There's just two members of WE on top of the objective. Oh, they have to peel back. Oh, it's devastating. Right now, look at this. WE, they're completely routed away from the objective. They want to be able to stake underneath the nose of Rare Atom.
I like the setup. They tried baiting him into a choke point where they had flanks from multiple angles there, WE, but Rare Atom, they're just not falling for it. They're the kind of team that don't like to opt into skirmishes. They're the kind of team that opt into their kind of plays where they have the control and the setup. And that just means they're not falling for anything WE is trying to catch them in.
And you talked about it, Guldborg. It's a Mundo with Ocean Soul. He's got his Mythic, he's got the Warmogs, and we take a look at this replay. Beishang is the one who tries to make the fight happen because he just sees iBoy a little far.
And that's the thing, you look at this one time and then they're taking care of the frontliners. They're only hitting frontliners. We're only hitting frontliners. What are we hitting? We're hitting the frontliners. Look at iBoy, look at FoFo, completely untouched. And that just makes sure that yeah, Raratum, you're just able to pin down the entire of WE, make sure they split them up, make sure they take the fight themselves. Front to back right now for Raratum, it's just better. If you do not get backline access, you don't win the fight. It's that simple for WE. And I want to see Mundo go 1v5 and just tank up the entire team with this Ocean Soul. Now I'm on your high.
I'm glad you have finally come over to the ways of the Mundo. You can even see Cube. He's got the swag walk going on. He's walking right down mid lane. He owns the place. This is where he has built up his kingdom.
And most certainly is. You can see he's not afraid to be there either. Wow, look at that damage from FoFo as well. Front to back, we talk about it. It's so hard for WE to get through these frontliners right now.
You're wondering what can happen here. What can WE do? They are on their home turf and they are pushed back to the wall. They have to be able to win a fight here soon. Otherwise, Rare Adam are going to get the 2-0 sweep over them on their home turf.
Looks like Rare Atom is just going to start off the Baron here, force the enemy to walk into them, poke them down while they're trying to come in here and fight the mission.
Time. Look at that. They're just baiting him in, saying, we dare you to walk into us blind. You have no control here. And Cube, they're both playing so aggressively so far into Team WE, and now they've got the movement coming in from Paul and Grudge. See if they can get to the backline, but Mole's on top of iBoy. They've even got the dive coming in. He's nearly dead. They got the punch kill that they needed to trade back, but the jungler is dead too. Hong trying to be able to get away from Breathe. He wants to be able to get the kill onto him as Mundo still in the middle of everyone while Leyan was chasing down missing. Cube comes back into the fight. They're trying to see what else they can get. Leyan taken low. He's finished off by Elk. Team WE, they find the fight finally.
And this time around, they found the backline access. The fight was a little bit split with the tanks going into a small choke point that gave them good access to finding iBoy. I'm not too sure if he had it flash up when the fight broke out, but it's certainly off cooldown now going into the next fight. And WE, they find some sort of engage back into the game. Not even. They're going to need one more of that because they can't get a Drake out of that. It's already gone. Ocean Soul onto Dogpaw Rarata, and they can't get Baron. But here you see it. Look at the two frontliners just moving forward, and that leaves iBoy completely alone. They're able to pile on him with 3 members, and that's enough to take him down.
Guldborg, that was cheeky. Cube, his passive ended up actually helping out Mole there because Mole used the ult onto him. Last time around, we criticized him for it, but that time it actually allowed him to get on top of iBoy with Cube nowhere near him.
And that's the kind of thing, the small mechanics you can utilize here. I wonder if you ultimate a Mundo, you only get his passive and you fly alone. If you still do the insane amount of damage you do with high XP targets when you hit the ground. Or is it just going to be base damage? I mean,
someone gets to the lab. We need to know this answer.
Yeah.
Someone's got to get to the lab on that one. I have no idea on that one because that would be interesting to see how that interaction works if you're able to get the full damage. Because there, Mole actually didn't. I know he wasn't right on top of iBoy, but he was close enough to be able to get Stride Breaker in, pull him back in, and then immediately finish him off from there. But with that fight, that is massive for WE. It might seem like, sure, it wasn't enough to actually get them an objective, but being able to retain themselves and keep themselves in this game against Rare Adam when it seemed all dire is critical for them to find one more of those fights like you talked about.
And yeah, exactly, because if we take a look at the items, WE, they have hit a 2-item power spike here, which can make the game a bit more dicey for Rare Atom. Make no mistake, Rare Atom is still ahead, but you take a look at the gold, it's not with much. And they have an Ocean Soul, but that Ocean Soul won't imply too much on iBoy, for example. If he gets blown up, he won't have enough time to stay alive to actually get the regeneration from the Ocean Soul.
Now, Rare Adam, they are the ones who find themselves caught between a rock and a hard place. Do you start up the Baron before you have to worry about the Elder Dragon? If you know you can't actually position around that objective as easily as you had it before, because if you do, Team WE might just make an even swap trade, go for the Elder themselves.
They 100% can here, but still, they have the mid lane pressure, they don't have the bot lane pressure, and that's deterring them from going into the enemy and getting deeper vision. Because right now, WE has pretty good vision.
Mole is just trying to see if he can position around for a flank. He wants to be able to escort these minions in, but he does not want to forfeit this ability to be able to drag in the backline right into his team.
Oh, this is really good, but I think they overestimated Rare Atom. Usually we don't see them just start up the Drake mindlessly. Usually we want to see them try to go for a turn here, but This time around, it has been started up. Oh, he spotted on the sweeper.
He sees him, and Mole now, what are you going to be able to do? The team is there to be able to back you up. Breathe is inside of the pit, but the dragon is focusing on top of you. You have to ward jump away just to be able to get some distance. All the while, Mole is so low. He might have to recall TP immediately if they want to be able to get this fight to work out. It's 50% onto the Elder Dragon, and it's going to be some time before Mole is going to be able to show up. They are waiting it out. Beishang is going to be the one that they want to shoot on top of. They continue to dive, missing so low, flashing away, but they weren't able to get the kill. Leyan is turned back on top of Cube, trying to be able to get away. He's trying to be Mundo and go where he pleases, but the dive back in from Breathe. He gets a huge kick onto all four members, and they continue to pile in on top of Rare Adam. They do not want to forfeit this. This is their home turf, and they want to be able to get the victory. Cube, you're dead meat.
Breathe just came out clutch with that team fight, coming in with that kick, enabling Elk to dive in as well. That was the dog pile we talked about. Beautiful team fight coming out from WE. That was fantastic. They pick up the Elder Drake and now presumably can pick up the Baron as well and put the game back into their favor.
This looked all wrong too. Pissing was so low, he couldn't even use the Magnet Storm. But Leyan was so far extended.
And in all, Rare Atom, they're just getting too impatient. Their composition relies on poking down the turret, and look at that kick. What a beautiful kick to come in. El just running in to finish off the rest of the members afterwards. Breathe, really setting up his team for success in that fight.
And this is why we highlighted this player earlier on. That kick was massive. Even after they got the pick of Leyan being overextended, it wasn't enough to secure their victory in that fight. Then Breathe gets the flash kick right onto all four members of Rare Adam so they could all dogpile on top of them. Immaculate from WE to be able to wrestle back this game.
Yeah, the thing is, there's still a lot of outer turrets to take care of. Baron is up for 2.30, but you can already see Elder Drake. Barely a minute left of it already, so I don't think they're going to get to the point where they can take that huge team fight, because I do believe Rare Atom will just forfeit all their structures. I think that's the only thing they can do. You just kind of want to poke them down.
Yeah.
But once again, Rare Atom misplayed that fight a little bit. They need to go for a more poke-heavy style where they're just tanking up the Drake with their tanky members, not necessarily killing it, but keeping it baited, just so WE thinks that there's something going on. But this time around, WE now, with all these buffs, pushing in the mid, pushing in bot, trying to take control of the map now.
Trying to see if they can continue to push back in. The double buffs on top of Team WE. Rare Adam, they're normally the team that strives in these chaotic late game fights, but now they have their backs against the wall. They're the ones trying to defend their own turret from dying. They were able to do it against Top Esports just a couple days ago, but here, WE, they're looking massive.
They really are, but only 20 seconds onto the Drake here. I don't think they'll be able to just force a fight out of nowhere, but they're posing like they want to on the next minion wave coming in just a few seconds rather.
They have that cannon minion. They're going to have double up on the Baron cannon minions onto these Nexus turrets. They might just be able to take one of the structures with them. Again, he's tanky enough, but not tanky enough. Trying to see if they can get anything. He's dead. Cube, next target, had to be able to pop the ult just to be able to get a little bit of distance to Beishang. He is low and right in the middle, missing. Gives up his own life. He will be missing in action just so WE can try to get a little bit of distance away from Rare Adam, who continue to try to push back in. FoFo taking only a little bit of damage while the rest of Rare Adam are able to scare off WE.
Yeah, but it can be a bit dicey. Okay, they actually decide not to chase in. They lose an inhibitor, they lose a Nexus turret, but that's about it. Baron runs out in 30 seconds, and then WE, all they had to do, or all they can do really, is play off the pressure of one lane where super minions will be coming in from, but it should be fairly easy for Rare Atom to keep it pushed out. And on towards the replay, you can see there's still a bit of time left on the Elder Drake as soon as Leyan go in, so they're able to use everything on him to blow him up. But at this point in time, the fight just becomes our favorite. Drake is out, missing, caught out of position, and the rest of the members from WE is just forfeited to retreat.
But think about how much WE were able to get off that play. Even if they weren't able to finish the game, only one Nexus turret remains. One more good push could be the end, or one more amazing team fight, like they've had 2 times in a row already. Can make it, so we're at a game 3.
That's the thing, we talked about ease of execution as well, Magical. Right now, WEs is just that much easier to pilot. Rare Atom, it netted them a lot of good early objectives, but you can kind of see how hard it does become towards the end of the game, where items have started to come through, where you'll have to position way better not to get caught off guard by a dogpile composition like we see from WE.
Big problem right now has been iBoy. He has to get so close to be able to get some damage, some poke to help out the team, but that's when it's always the call from WE. Punish his mispositions, punish Leyan for being overextended, and then win the fights from there.
Sleepy target onto missing, but is out of there with the crash down as well. So you can see they're trying to find some of these picks. You do still have some tools in your arsenal for this as well. Obviously, Chains of Corruption from iBoy, but also the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Those are the key abilities we're looking on for Rare Atom. On towards the side of WE, it's about finding that backline access that we've talked so much about throughout the series already.
Might be easier too, because Breathe is going to feel so powerful. Having gotten himself that Guardian's Angel, they have a Styx gauge that they've had for a long time on top of Mole. They've even got tons of grievous wounds to be able to cut down this Mundo that has been terrorizing him thus far. If they can somehow catch out FoFo, if they can kill this Zoe, that might just be enough, that one pick alone, to end the game.
Yeah, 2 key objectives will be storming soon as well. Elder Drake, less than 40 seconds, and Baron, just about a minute. So it's only going to be a couple of moments before we should have a final fight breaking out between these two teams.
What is going to be the call between the two of them? What one is more important? Elder, second time for WE, or second time for the Baron on top of them? They're the ones with the inside track, but I think they want to be able to bait in RA. They're so worried because there's so much poke that can be provided by this entire composition. Mole has a great angle, maybe.
Yeah, you can see it's all about these flanks. It's all about finding different ways to get access to the backline. If you take just a standard front to back, it's easy to peel off iBoy. But if you come off multiple flanks, it becomes way harder.
Missing. Look at, oh my god, the dragon, I mean, is already taken so low, and Mole is in the backline. They've got the damage with the Elder Buff, and they're going to be able to annihilate everyone. FoFo trying to be able to get away with the double flash, trying to use one more. Picks it up, but now he is in a bad spot, and there's a ton of minions pouring down mid lane. This could be the end. WE have one more fight. It's a TP attempted, but the kick is there. FoFo, you're not going to be able to escape, and soon you're going to be sniped out of the air for Breathe to take yet another kill and look to TP to end this game. They will force a game 3. Like I've said many a time, it is their home turf. They're in Xi'an, and they want to show that they are here to win.
And you gotta dedicate a lot of that win to Breeze's performance on towards the Lee Sin, finding access so many times, finding that perfect kick, keeping them alive in this series. And that was Rare Atom's games to lose. They were up all the time throughout the game. One misposition once again comes out from iBoy, one positional fight where there's access for World Elite to the back line. And it just goes all the way. They make the most out of the pressure they can get on the map. They get the Elder Drake, they get the Baron. And initially, they just take the game.
And I cannot wait until we get to see the cold grass in that game and just to see the up and down for Rare Atom in that one. WE, what a game. The thing is, I was rooting for the Mundo, but I also did want to have game 3. I want WE to be able to get this win on their home turf, force it to be an exciting series. Both teams tied in the standings at, well, 3-1, 4-1, but essentially tied. This has so much meaning for both teams to try to make sure they can cement themselves in the top.
Yeah, it for sure has, and you realize both teams right now, Rare Atom 4-1, World Elite 3-1, or World Elite 3-1 as well. So it is very close between these two teams, and we talked about the difference in style coming through. We saw a lot of it in Game 1, but also here in Game 2. The ease of execution finally from WE just worked out better with the Diana, where they were able to get multiple members, the kicks as well with the Lee Sin, and obviously Elk onto a Kaisa rather than an Ezreal this time around to kind of just solidify the deal of backline access. Worked out wonders towards the end. But I will say though, World Elite still not convinced about their early game. Rare Atom did a great job at keeping them at bay, and we said it to ourselves, this was Rare Atom's games to lose. They had an Ocean Soul, they had the setups for the objectives, and they still managed to miss position in some of these
They had
fights.
an Ocean Salt on Mundo. That's the thing that kind of stands out to me. You have probably one of actually the best Soul to be able to put onto this Mundo so he can constantly be able to absorb this damage, back out, heal to full, and they still lost because it was great fights coming in from WE. And there it is. There is that gold graph that I wanted to see. Look at how that just completely swings.
I mean, it's night and day, really, isn't it? And you can see the entirety of that early game was Rare Atoms. And we said it once again, I'll say it for a third time. They're going to lose because it was. And then we get to this point in time where World Elite, where WE just comes online. And you can see it on the damage graph as well. L, once he gets to that late game spike, he really just out-damaged the rest of the members. Cube has a lot of damage as well on towards the Mundo, but most of that is just due to the fact that he's alive that much longer. He's doing a little bit of damage, but over longer periods than time than some of his members were on his side of the team as well.
The thing also with this composition is it is a great composition to punish mispositioned